Sunday morning sunrise. Full of contrails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a fresh one being made. Oh yeah, I'm getting mooned. And if you can see a red and white spot up there on the road, that'd be our neighbor down the road. Like he's been there, I don't know, 25, 30 years, I suppose. Jogs every day. Haven't got a chance to talk to him for a while, but hell of a nice guy. He happens to have the same name as our neighbor the other direction. And they get to chat once in a while, so I find out what's going on around. And oh yeah, if you notice, they're steaming. Yeah, the weatherman lied. Our 37-degree low. Yeah, try 27. I'm at 27, 28. I know it's 28 at least. Yeah, I don't see no new babies in here, so I guess we haven't started yet. Of course, I didn't check the feed barn yet, but I will do that. They'll all come in here in a couple minutes, so I won't have to. Well, I'll still go check, make sure there isn't one laying out there. But I don't hear any noises, so, and it won't be long till I get there. I'm just going to start feeding here and go out there. I'd rather feed here without manure on my boots than walk through the manure out there and come in here and get manure all over everywhere I gotta climb and walk. Does she look guilty to you? Kind of like a trash panda. Her and about 3 others should be guilty. When I walked around with the buckets, they were standing right over there, staring at me. And I told her she was not going to get to eat breakfast from over there. So by the time I got up here with the buckets, of course, they're all over here. Yesterday, when Becky was down here in the barn with me, we were over there. I could hear what sounded like a set of shots on the gate. Being loose and clanging. And they'll do that if they're rubbing on a gate really hard. Well, they were rubbing on the gate over there. That bottom gate has a latch on the post, like the one out at the feed barn. Like all of them at the feed barn. Somebody just tried to knock me off. They won't get fed if they do that. But that gate and that gate and the one clear up there all have shots into the pole. So yeah, they knocked the shots loose. It happens. Gate hasn't been touched since we cleaned this barn, so. And they've been rubbing a lot. Don't notice anything other than they're rubbing. So, anyway, they still want food. Yeah, I'm going to have to quit feeding them that second cutting, because if you notice, there's nothing left in the feeder to speak of. What's left in the feeder, that's got to last them till this afternoon or this evening. Sucks to be them, doesn't it? It's just because I'm feeding better stuff doesn't mean I got to feed more of it. But I'm sure they don't get that, do they? Huh? Good morning. You see? Okay, good morning. There we go. I told you I'd show you the finished product. That is a scrap piece that's left from fixing that manure cart the other day. Happened to be the perfect width. Just wasn't long enough, so I didn't want to cut it off square, because all your pulls on this side, but all your weight's on this side too. But the way it's sitting here, because of the pull, it's sticking out. I was thinking it might set the other way, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. It still kind of works as a stop. Used to be the tube would come down square on here. Now this comes down and hits the head of the bolt. Doesn't need to go down that far anyway. I may do something different there. Probably should have cut it off square. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's back on there. Threw some fluid film on that rusty cable. Sprayed the hell out of it on there. Got most of it. Put some on there. I just raised it up to about here, and it came right down freely. I did a little wedging, so right here, it's kind of hard to spread it any. So it kind of bent, but it's wider here than it is here. And obviously has some clearance there, which it didn't have before. So I just had Becky help me get that back on there. Kind of nice though, because since this could go down lower than it did before, I didn't have to lift that auger as high. And you know, this is the light end of the auger. That's why there's a wheel tied on with twine at the other end. It's not bad when it's down like this. There's weight on that end, but when it's up in the air, you got to hold it. It's a pain in the ass. But at any rate, that part's done. I'm gonna weasel it around here so I can work on that end. Then I'm seriously considering, I don't remember if this motor will run the other direction or not. It'll run 110 or 220, 240, whatever you want to call it. It's set up 110, but I don't remember if I can change rotation on it or not. If I can, what I'm thinking about doing is make a different piece, because I mean that one's still usable on a different auger the way it is. I don't want to screw it up. Not that big deal to make another one. And put a bearing up. Throw that pulley probably on the bearing or on the shaft, and put a shaft overhead. That'll get rid of all this out here. Because for us, for our own use, you know, nice and snug there. This gets in the way when we're trying to fill the grinder mixer, because you know, in New Holland's Infinite Wisdom on the 354, yeah, that's what ours is. They put the frickin' cyclone right over the top of the inlet for the hammer mill. So if I do that, I'll put the motor down here. I'll just have to build something. Closer to here would be better. But the problem with that is when it gets up so high, it's over center. But that might not be bad either, because at least it's not hanging out on the end. And you know, there's what, 30, 40 pounds there. So anyway, if it's down in here somewhere, I can do like I did here, just take a piece of channel and put on top of the tube, make a coupler for it, and just direct run to the upper end. We'll see. I mean, it's quite a bit to do, but it would make it a hell of a lot nicer. But I can only do that if that motor will go the other direction, or if I have one that does go the other direction. I can still do it, but you know, it's a pain in the ass having to drop it and put a gearbox in it. If I can direct drive it, that'd be so much easier. And on this one off into the scene, yes, we have a switch, because you can stand here and reach it. Just a regular light switch. Need to blow some shit out of there. Good weather cover. So far, it's not been an issue out in the weather. And I get going on this and hopefully show you that when I'm done. I got distracted today. I got that far. I actually got a little more curve on that, but that just keeps it off the floor a little better. I did not find the chunk of lighting that I thought I had over there on the rack. I do have other 3-inch augers I could sneak a little off of, but I don't know. Really should do something while it's in here. I did find a piece to use. This was a broken bolt, actually a fairly hard one too. I was surprised. I'm going to come off here, come out and angle down here. So I'm not sure how much of the bolt I need. but I don't know how much I'm going to use, right? And I'd have been farther along with this, but Becky was doing some cleaning in the flower beds and says, "Hey, can you put the bucket on the skid steer?" And so, yeah, that's what I spent. Time I got done with everything in the morning, I kind of pushed her to have lunch a little early, and I've been all afternoon helping her with that crap. So, haven't done anything else on this, other than I just got that piece ready to figure out and cut. I'm going to do that, and obviously I'm not going to weld it where it's at. Be a bad place to do that. So I'll have to swing it somewhere. Not like I want to weld over the top of that either. It is wonderful. So anyway, I'm going to get that and go from there. Just in case anybody didn't notice how this was put together. That chunk that the old T-posts are welded to is just an old scrap chunk that came off of something. The strap actually was probably off this auger by the looks of the paint on it, or lack of. That's all it is. These two are lightweight. Insulators don't fit on them. They were straight, good for the job. So that's what's there. Those two were actually, if I remember right, those were a couple of 10-foot heavies. Well, we used 6 or 7 foot. 10 foot's just too damn long. So we just cut the tops off, and that's what braces there. And see, the heavy ones are actually welded to a bushing that's welded to the cross shaft. And then it's just angle iron for stops to hold this in place. It's just a piece of short square tubing it's welded to. And it works great. Second set of tires on it. These are actually from Hobo Freight. They're the ones that never go flat. Problem is, when it sits out there very long, it gets flat spots and it's hard to roll. But it still works. I wouldn't mind putting a little bigger on there, but for right now, I'm going to leave those on there. I think we made it so wheelbarrow will go on, but maybe not. I may not have left enough sticking out. I don't know. And a cheap Hobo Freight winch on it. And that's just a freaking V-belt idler pulley up there that was laying around. Works great. I mean, it ain't that heavy. So, and yeah, there's a hole on the bottom of it. If I was really worth a damn, I'd peel that tape off and put a patch on there. But, you know, that tape will work as a patch just as well as me trying to burn holes in it. And it ain't the straightest auger in the world either. It's got a ding, I think, right there. Yep. But right there's what I come up with. I used that whole bolt. That's good enough. At least should keep that from bending again. If it does, it's going to bend something else. So, anywho, that's what I got. I'm going to put the end on the floor for tonight. And that's supposed to be on there for a counterweight. It's never in the right place. See if I got what I need to move that motor and see if I can reverse that motor. If I can, I'll probably go ahead and do that while it's in here. Make it a whole lot nicer, because we're always, trying to get in close enough with the grinder mixer is just a pain in the ass. And when you got Mexicans here filling barrels in the back of their pickup, it's always right in their face. And if I can put it up and put a shield over it, I'd feel much better, you know? So I'm going to go feed and go in. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you've had a good Sunday, and hope everybody has a good week coming up.
Barney, what has Boogie got? You silly boy. What do you say? Can you say please? What do you say? What do you say, Barney? Oh, snort. Boogie to give it to you.
What? What? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can you
So Barney's upset because my father-in-law left piles of cut grass. So they always get our lawn clippings, always. So he gets all excited about it. I let Brooke give him apples earlier. And now he's pissed because he's still staring at the piles, hoping that Brooke's just going to give him all of it.
Down there. There you go.
Oh, Barney.